get Candace to share her screen and maybe set up account. And I'm going to show you all where to click so you don't have to, you can have an account so you can use the Google Keyword Planner, but you don't have to set up a campaign. So share your screen and I'll direct you and I'll, holler loudly if you're going in the wrong direction, but I'll do my left and rights.
Okay.
And so I think this is a super fun way to do it because I learned Candace didn't have a Google Ads account to play with. And if you are an SEO, you definitely want to use the Google Keyword Planner, even if you're not doing Google Ads. So there is a way to get into the accounts without setting a campaign. And it's just important to show how we do this. So you can type into Google Ads, or you could type in Google Keyword Planner, either or. And then click on the first one or the one that's, yeah, that one, the organic one. So you can click on the paid organic and then start now or sign in, either or, blue button. Yeah. And then put in your email. Okay, so what we're doing is we're setting up a Google Ads account without creating a campaign. When you log in, so Google's trying to get you to answer all these questions, which will take you through this long-winded thing. So what you want to do is look for hyperlinked blue text. So where it says, "Are you a professional marketer? Switch to expert mode." Yeah, right there above the help. You're going to click on that. So you're always looking for hyperlink blue text. And so now Google's still trying to get you to create a campaign, right? So look for the hyperlink blue text. It is over to the left-hand side under all the boxes. Yep. Create an account without a campaign. And then you just put your billing country, your time zone, and if you're whatever your dollar is, right? So US and then just submit and then explore the account. Congratulations. And so what this does is this gives you a better way to manage because now you have all the settings. So you're not going to create a campaign here, but what you're going to do is you're going to go over to tools and settings across the top of your screen and click on that. And then you would go over to the keyword planner under planning. Yeah. And so that's how you get into a Google Ads account and get into the keyword planner. Now we're going to go back out. We're just going to go into the ads account. And now you have an account you can play with. So click that back button at the top left-hand side. We're going back in. So you are here. Now we are going to run through some settings and stuff. So I'll share my screen now. And now, Candace, you have an account. Haha. And you can just play around in there and you're not spending any money. And usually business owners, when they log in, they get taken through this process so that they spend money.
So do you have to just click on the blue hypertext
When you
every
log in,
time or?
you only have to do that once. Now, whenever you
Okay.
log in, it'll look like that. So what it should kind of look like is Google Ads campaign. This is kind of when you log into Google Ads, this is what it looks like. It'll tell you if there's a problem with the account, it'll show up here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go look through the account. If you want to join me, I'm going to take you through from left to right and then top of the screen. And this is so you start to get used to things. What I'd like is you to follow along or click around while you're in there, or of course, just watch. And then next time you can do it yourself. But the reason we want to know about most important settings is because there's, as you saw from how we had to log Candace in to get an account, there's some, hidden gems in there that we want to know about. So when we have a campaign, when we have an account, right, we have the lovely hamburger menu over on the left hand side. And we can, if you have no campaigns, you might not see anything, right? If you have campaigns, you could see them, or if they're paused, you might not see them. So these three little dots are going to kind of give you things to toggle on and off, right? So I could view by the campaign, and then it gets rid of my campaign types. I can view by types of campaigns. So remember how in Google Ads we learned that there's a search network and a display network, right? So we got search campaign and display campaign. And you'll see that the campaigns have little pictures. So this one has two pictures and this one just has one magnifying glass. And we'll explain each picture means something, right? So you can see all the search campaigns have a magnifying glass. All the display campaigns have kind of like this picture window box, right? And so different campaigns, like a video campaign, will have a video. So none of my campaigns are active. Once in a while, you'll get asked to manage somebody's Google Ads or look at their account. We don't sell anybody anything until if they already have a Google Ads account, we need to see inside the account before we can quote. It's just an important thing to do. So if they don't have an account, you can set them up an account, right? But if you log into an account and you're not seeing anything, it's probably because of these beautiful three dots here, right?
I have a question about setting them up an account.
Yeah.
Do you want to use their primary email address if it's Gmail, or do they want a fresh Gmail address for their data analytics?
I think that every company should probably have a Gmail marketing email, like a company name, Gmail at blah, 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 well, at gmail.com. But I mean, you work with what you have. So some clients will already have an account, like we use an MCC account. So I mean, it's kind of up to them as long as there's additional emails given. Helen, what do you recommend? Because I know we struggle a little bit with this here and there of what to make them do.
Yeah, so generally, if you're creating a new account for the client, you want to set it up with a like company name .marketing@gmail.com, and everyone has access to that. It also makes it easier. So in case they do use like their own email or something like that, or like the email goes away, that they don't have to like get locked out of the account. And generally, and then it also is different if you're doing an MCC account. You want to be very specific. Do not create the account within an MCC account. You want to do it separate and then connect the MCC account afterwards.
So anybody who wants to do Google Ads and have many clients with Google Ads, then we'll show you how to do an MCC account. We won't show you if you're not going to work on, like if that's not your end goal, because it might be overwhelming. It's not that hard. You just sign up for MCC account. But then you'll get things like, if you see our names here, right? This is our MCC account, and it's a little bit different than the other accounts. So you see support, see more digital media, it says manager, and then these are regular accounts, right? Funniest thing is people will give you access to view accounts and then they never take you off, which is kind of amusing. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, but we'll talk more about the emails in the security section, which I will go over in a little bit. Great question though. Google will sometimes ask you questions and irritate you with leaving a comment. And if you don't, they just keep asking your questions. So you just say, you just hate them a little bit. So, okay, one thing to know is there's this little toggle arrow that goes left and right. So that makes things smaller because there is this double vertical menu, right? Double column that you're going to have to learn to toggle through. So if I'm in search campaigns, right, or in display, I can separate them out this way. I can look at all campaigns. If I want to go into a specific campaign, I can do it from this level, right? And then you don't see campaigns in this side, right? But I could go into campaigns here, so I could see all campaigns like this. So that's why you're gonna slowly have to get used to clicking around. There's a lot of different things, right? You can, again, show only enabled, which will show nothing. You can show enabled and paused or all, right? Which would be the deleted. Google never deletes anything in your Google Ads account. So accounts can get really big and it can be overwhelming, especially when you have 40 ad groups or something like that. So remember how in our class, we went over there's the account and then there's campaigns and then there's ad groups. Inside the ad groups are the ads and the keywords, right? So we're going to go through all of kind of what a campaign looks like. So for this search campaigns, that's all I want to see. And in here, if you look over in the second column, the settings, right? So if you click on this, if you're at the account level, which is up here, this area, right? Then you're going to get campaign and account settings. But if you're in a regular campaign, you are only going to you're not going to get account settings. So it'll just jump you into here. So this is why you might feel a little confused and lost in the beginning. And this is why I say click around. If you did create a campaign and add groups and have a list of keywords, good for you. If we need more time on that, I need everybody to come up with a list of keywords. Right? Then we can put them in the ad groups and then we can make ads and then we can launch a campaign. So, okay, all campaigns. And then, so when we go through each campaign, right? So we're inside a campaign. Anyone, you can pick anyone. And when you open them, you can see it produces the ad groups, right? When I close them, it'll make it smaller. So it's everything kind of does this accordion type of thing inside Google Ads, right? So inside, and I'm using this campaign because it's just a search campaign, where this one looks slightly different with that little extra bit. So the first place I always want to go inside my campaigns when I'm setting things up is I want to go through the main settings. So I've already gone through my account settings, which we can look at after we look at the campaign settings. But in the settings for a campaign, when I open this, it's got one ad group, right? Very small. And I can see the campaign names. Now you get the down character arrow. And this is where you can rename your campaign. This is why when we create a campaign, we don't want to spend much time in Google's creation phase, taking us through all those steps. We just want to get through them as fast as possible so we can work on the account in these settings, right? You can set up a goal. Now, when I toggle on this and say I change something and then I go somewhere else, it'll be like, no, go back. So every section has a save function, right? So your job basically is to go through these settings, click on and off these down arrows, check out the campaign, right? What's your marketing objective, right? We did not pick an objective in when we created a campaign, but oftentimes it's sales or leads. I never pick website traffic. Or you can pick no guidance. Google will tell you every time you sign in to fix that. Google's going to give you a lot of messages in here that you're going to have to get used to ignoring or managing, right? So then you're picking your network. This is where one of the most important settings and what creates the difference in the little tiny picture between these. This is one of the places where you're going to want to go and you're going to want to make a decision every time you create a Google Ads campaign. And it's the networks. As we learned, there's search and display network. We keep things separate here. So you'll notice these are not clicked on. So if I click that on, it will change the little picture here. Wait, and let's save it. Should see, now the picture's changed, right? So now it's not just a magnifying glass. So if I take off this, I save it, I still have the other network clicked on, so it still shows it here. So when I click on off of these, so when you get used to this, you can see certain things and pictures will tell you things. Your whole job is to just click through all the settings, right? The more times you go over this, the more times you'll get used to this. The reason you're going to pick certain settings is to save yourself money and added spend, right? Out of the box, Google is geared towards getting you to spend more money, right? And this is where a lot of business owners fail because they don't know. So getting rid of the search network and the display network is one of the most important settings. And if you want to read more about them, most Google Ads people do not use these. Sometimes they'll do tests to see, because so the search network is going to be like AOL and DuckDuckGo, right? And the display network is going to be websites that you go to read about your industry specifics. Like one I would go to is Search Engine Journal. So where you'll see like the square ads. Then you have your location settings. And this is where we looked at last time. This is where you can optimize location targeting, however you want to do that. But you're always going to be going and looking for that blue hyperlink text, right? So the advanced search. Now here, I showed you this last time when we create a campaign. You can do targeted radius. You can do just places. You can toggle onto the map and like pick the places. Now, target or exclude. Exclude means to not show up. So there is a way to do negative area targeting. So oftentimes Google says, don't negative out areas, don't make that a thing, but definitely, target your areas. The bigger the area, the more money you spend. The larger the population in that area, the more money you'll spend, right? So, and as you keep going down this list, you go into the location options. And this is where you do have to toggle. So when you log in for the first time, when you first create a campaign, it'll look like this. And the presence in or interest in people. So if I'm in another country and I'm looking at, say, Dunkin' as a holiday place, I know unusual, but yes, then my ad could show up for that person. But if I do this one, people in or regularly in my targeted location, because I want people in my location, that's a good way to spend money. And clicking on the second radio button is a good way to save money for your client. So then you click save, close it right up. English language, I would say if you're doing more than one language, you should have somebody writing those ads in that language if you're going to do that. And then you have your budgets. This is your daily budget. Remember, we decide daily budget by getting how much somebody wants to spend in a month, and we divide that by 30.4. And then we have our bidding strategy, right? And we always want our bidding strategy to be manual, right? We don't want it max clicks. And we know it's hard to get to this bidding strategy because Google does not show it at first. You have to, so Google will be like, pick maximize conversions, right? And then if I pick maximize conversions, I might not see the manual. So I might want to click around to get to it. I believe you kind of have to turn it on by hitting the hyper blue link text, right? So see, it takes you back and then, back to, see, then you have to go back. So always that click around, hyperlink blue text. Sometimes Google moves things around on your dashboard. So, or they change things this year. They changed, oh goodness, they changed the ads. They changed the billing. They changed the match types and they changed the search term report. So you got match type and then start and end date. Now, great thing to have an end date if you want to feel secure. When you work with somebody, if say they leave you and you created their account for them, you definitely want to make sure that the account doesn't accidentally turn on and start spending money. I have seen it happen. And so that's when, say, if a client's leaving you, go set an end date, put everything to 0, daily budget to 0, all the things. But when you create a campaign and you're going to need help to review it, and that's your opportunity here, right, is to create a campaign and then get somebody to review it with you. So you'll see as you keep going, you got your settings, but you got all these other things to go through, right? And then you even have this more, and that opens up a whole thing. So each campaign has a ton of settings that you can go through. The most important are going to be the settings of the whole campaign. And then as you build out your campaign, right? So I have one ad group. Like, okay, so if I'm in my campaign and I want to go to my ad groups, I would click on the campaign and then I would click over to ad groups. And if I'm in ad groups, you're going to notice now we have the 2 menus and then we have a table with a graph. So this table you can change. So if you click on columns, right? Each, and I hate to tell you this, but each of these things you can click on columns and change the column position, and you'll get different options for each thing. So your whole job is not to know where everything is and how to do everything. It is to click around and get down, right? Because as you get used to this, you will start to see extra things that your eye isn't tuned to see yet, right? So I'm in my campaign, I'm in an ad group, right? When I open my ad groups, drop down menu happens, and then I end up here. And then I have all these different things I can do. And I have my 3 buttons, right? And, the 3 buttons are strange. You're probably not going to use this. You might use the paste. But the create automated rule, that's pretty advanced. Open notes panel, that's relatively new. And upload is new. Now, if see, I got my little arrows. I can get rid of the graph, and each different part is going to have different things. So all you got to do is click around. What you need to know is you want to go to the overview button. You want to know where the date range is to play with that. You can do comparisons, toggle on and see, like when I say it's just about getting used to it, what you want to do is run through a campaign completely, right? And go through ad groups, ad extensions, landing pages, keywords, audiences. There are going to be some settings in here that you're going to want to know and that you need to know, but they're mainly based in the settings position, right? And the other place they're really based is this menu across here, right? Where the tools and settings is where you're going to spend lots of time. So when you're creating your campaign, you also have, after ad groups, you have extensions. All you need to know here is that you need to add them. You need to use as many as possible. And basically, you can see them in ads. So there's that drop down menu that happens, and then extensions. There's a number of extensions. Some you can only use with some different types of campaigns, but you basically try to use them all. And if you want to know what you get to use, just click the blue plus button and you can see you can add images, site links, call outs, structured snippets. Yes, they all have funny names. All they do is take up space. That's what you need to know. And you need to literally just click on them, be like, okay, I'm going to add an image extension. How do I do that? I don't have any images. I'm going to click on images and Google's going to pull up my info. You're going to be like, oh, look, you can add these. These are from your website. We can scrape your socials. Just add your URL, right? Google does do some things out of the box to help you. And then, don't get carried away with the advanced settings. If you see advanced settings, maybe for now, don't click on them unless you're comfortable and you just want to be like, ooh, where are things, right? So literally when you create a campaign, you go through and you look at all these things, right? You're not going to have any landing pages unless you've put them in your ad, right? Or just leave that there. Then your keywords. So this one, so besides your ads and extensions, that's where you're going to see your ads. It's where you're going to see your extensions and what you have. Each campaign has its own ads, has its own extensions, right? You can have your own landing page for each campaign. You can have a landing page for each ad group. Keywords is really important because this is what you're bidding on. So you're going to spend a lot of time in the keyword section, right? As I click down, you can notice the toggle goes down and I get 4 options, right? So I get search keywords, which are the keywords you're bidding on, negative keywords, which are the keywords I don't want to show up for. And we'll get more into the negative stuff when we go across the top of the screen. But negative keywords, like these are keywords I do not want to show up for. So I can add them at the campaign level. I can add them at the ad group level. I can add them at the account level. We'll look more at that. Negative keywords are part of optimization and strategy. And so you'll learn more about how to do that in the optimization class. But you'll notice here search keywords and search terms. If you're wondering oh, what the heck is the difference? And is it confusing? Yes. And if I have dyslexia, could I get more confused? Yes. Just saying. Search keywords are the ones you bid on. They're the ones you pick. Your search terms are the ones that people actually type into Google. So I'm going to actually take you to a live account. Let's to show you what it looks like to see this search term report. Now each account, looks a little different. So this is an MCC account going into accounts. And then I'm going to pick an account and we'll be back in kind of the same place we were. It all looks really the same. And it's going to totally bring up things on my screen. So you have options here. So you can see the little sparkly wand over here. That's a smart campaign. You don't want those. I just want to see what's enabled. Right. So that makes it cleaner. I can look at what I'm doing and go into a search campaign. Now, naming conventions, as I said, was important, right? You got the keyword all, meaning all areas, RSA, responsive search ads, exact phrase, broad, manual for the bidding, and only on search. So it's however you want to do your campaign. But we were over in keywords, right? So we're in, so look, if I go here, I can see all the keywords this way, but then it's for the whole account. And what I want is to see them for campaign and even for ad group, right? So if I'm looking at my keywords per ad group and I only have like 20 keywords, it's easier to manage, right? Because I can go into each ad group and I can be like, okay, I can see like what keywords are, when you do the whole thing, it can get overwhelming, but you can adjust these columns so you can see your ad group, you can see the campaign. So where the search terms, those are the keywords I bid on, and you can see these are exact match, right? Because they have the little brackets for exact, and it also tells you here. Now, if I go to the search terms, these are the terms that people type into Google, right? So dryer vent cleaning, what triggered the keyword dryer vent cleaning? Because it's exact was dryer vent cleaning, right? Do I have any? So you won't see this column out of the box, the keyword column in your search term report. You do have to go up to columns and then modify columns, right? That you will spend some time in here. And the cool thing about this part, right? So I found the keywords and attributes, but say I want to see interactions or average cost, right? I could just hit apply. I'm looking over to the right-hand side now because I've clicked on those two extra things. And if I scroll down here, they'll be here. And I can drag these around so it changes the position in the columns. Not something you need to know, just something to get used to click around and show different things in the columns. The important things you're going to want to know are keywords, clicks, click-through rate. Out of the box, it'll show you a lot. I just want to show you where you can click around. So the search term report is somewhere you will spend a lot of time, and you will probably spend it at the ad group level, depending on what you're doing. The search term report will help you find blog post titles. It will help you know if, it's really competitive for your client. Like, so if all sorts of other businesses show up in the search term report, right? And Google's added 70% more search terms that we see. Originally, they took away the search term report, which made it a lot harder to optimize ads, because a large part of every Google ad person's strategy is the negative keyword list, right? So you're going to be looking in this report weekly because you want to see, like, do I want to show up for these keywords? And you'll see here, like, I have how I'm looking at things because I'm trying to figure something out. But you will see keywords that get impressions, but no clicks. So it's great. You get to see keywords that aren't getting clicks that you might want to negative out, right? And so the search term report, you're going to spend lots of time. The audience list is where you're going to go through and literally click on everything and then save it. And, when you're in here, you can look around, show table. So get used to the looking for things in here. Like, what can I click on? That should be your attitude for Google Ads, right? And adjusting things and be like, oh, what can I see? Edit audiences at the campaign level, right? And this is where you go for all clicking on all those boxes, and always keep it under observation. Do not hit this button targeting. That is important because if you hit this button targeting right away, you will narrow your campaign too much and there won't be enough data. So that's why if you want us to look through campaigns that you're setting up, we are here for you to hold your hand during this process. So those are the main things you need to know in these settings, right? So what do you want to learn from this? You want to know that you want to click around and get down. You want to play in the settings. And then you want to, just to get familiar, click on everything. Optimizations are going to happen at the ad schedule, right? And if you want to see interesting things, you can see change history. Change history will show you all the changes that happen if you want to undo them. Interesting. No changes for this one recently. And yeah, so you're just trying to get used to things. You can go as deep as seeing devices and over time, when you get good at stuff, you can do bid adjustments for where people are showing up. We notice that most people don't convert on tablets. So I might adjust this to decrease it by 100%. Because if it's costing me money, cost me $10, right? Do I want to spend that $10? But these are things you have to work on over time. Your job with Google Ads is to work on getting a lower cost per click and getting conversions, right? So after you've set up your account and you've clicked on all the important settings, there's something that's going to happen to you every time you log in. Google's going to set you here. You're going to get logged in here, and Google's going to be like, there'll be a red button here saying spend more money, right? And then Google might have pop-ups that say you need to do this, you need to do that. Where you want to go is the recommendations. Now, if your clients have access to your account, they will see this thing called optimization score, and they'll be like, oh my God, you lost 10%. What is going on? And you will tell them that, hey, Google's set this up to get you to try to spend more money, or to get you to be stressed out, or to get you to do things that are not necessarily good for you, good for the account. Now, to keep the score up, because technically you have to follow these guidelines of trying to keep it up. But if you do not want to follow the recommendations, you just click on these beautiful 3 dots and you say dismiss all. You don't even have to give a reason why. As soon as you do that, it changes, right? So what is Google telling me here? Expand your reach with Google Search Partners. Google Search Partners was located in the settings, remember? Right here. And we chose not to use these. So Google's still trying to get us to spend that money. Because if we do the search partners, we're broadening our audience, right? So I will get a 2% raise on my optimization score if I just get rid of this, right? And some of them are very silly, like this, try the mobile app. Well, it doesn't go away. So if you try the mobile app, and so, right, you bring it up. So sometimes clients will get a little bit weird about this optimization score. And the other thing is sometimes you'll get some good recommendations, right? You might not want to change your bid strategy, and you're right, because Google's going to try to get you to spend money. So, but always go to the recommendations. You might see like add keywords, or if you might see keywords Google's telling you to add that you want to negative out at the account level. Now I can go into the recommendations at the campaign level, right? Oh, or at the account level, right? Or just the generalized campaigns. So as I said, just click around. But I mean, this looks good overall. You're going to be spending your time in the campaigns after you've set up your account settings, right? Now, the other places that you're going to spend time are across the top. You're going to get notifications here. Google will tell you to do things, right? You can change your view. Oftentimes when people set up their own Google Ads account, they won't get the view we get. This is the I'm a marketer. We clicked on that marketing expert button. Well, if I didn't have an account. So if you get confused and you log in and it's not what it looks like here, try to look over to the right-hand side here and see if you get these options, right? And click around. Now, the other place you're going to spend time is in your tools and settings. And as you can see, the drop-down menu is 6 sub-menus. You're not going to spend that much time in a lot of them, and you're not going to go everywhere, right? It's like the scripts and rules, those are super advanced. So you're not going to go in there. You're going to go to the keyword planner, right? Sometimes you might go to the ad diagnosis and preview tool. You will spend time in your shared library because like you get bidding strategies and your negative keywords lists. So remember I said you could negative keywords out at the account level, at the campaign level, and at the ad group level. So you can do different strategies. Now you want to keep it really simple. So either do at the campaign level or the account level. Like, do I never want to show up for this keyword ever, right? And you can, go in here and add keywords here, or actually add them from your ad groups. Anyway, Basically, your negative keyword list, where you find here, relates to your account. So this is the like, and you know, you can create different lists. I create a general negative keyword list for our clients and things we do not want to show up. Like he's in Victoria. I don't want to show up for anything Calgary. So the keyword was Calgary furnace cleaning. I put an exact match. I use phrase match because any word with the word Calgary, I don't want to show up for. I don't want to show up for car cleaning. So this is something you add to over time. It is a place you spend some time. Also, budgets. Budgets are interesting, right? Because each campaign has its very own budget. And if the client gives me $100 a month to spend, and I have 3 campaigns, well, each campaign gets $3 or, you know, $15. What if the keyword cost is 20? So shared budgets are a thing where you can have one budget and you can share it between all your campaigns, right? We do that. And then sometimes we'll separate out the budgets. Just know it's here. You're not really going to play with that yet. You're going to have one campaign. So you're not going to need to know shared budgets. Eventually you will learn that. Google just added the asset library. So this is Neato Mosquito stuff. Neato Mosquito. I got all these pictures. Google's pulling in my assets. So it's neat. I have not played around in here much, but you can, you know, create a video, add voiceover. So you can play in here and actually get creative creating stuff. So that's if you want to play. Don't play yet. First create a campaign. We play later.
Pip, I have another question.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do A/B testing to see what performs better, would you just set up 2 different campaigns?
Yes and no. So you can do different testing. So when you're doing A/B testing, there's different ways to do A/B testing. For instance, if you're doing A/B testing on the ads and changing the text, you can just go in and change the text, right? And then track it in there because you can have 2 different ads and see what one's working. You will notice in your settings when we create a campaign that you have the option for Google to optimize for best performing ad or for you. A/B testing happens later, and you'll end up using a tool like Google Optimize, which will let you change things on a landing page. So it depends. When you do A/B testing, it can get pretty granular. Like some people only change one word in the ad, right? And then compare. Or one thing on a landing page. And some people will change 5 things on a landing page
Gotcha.
and compare. So it's pretty interesting. So I would do it first at the ad level and then,
Okay.
at the landing page level.
And are they, does the on-page SEO for your landing page matter at this point? Like, are they ranking you on what your copywriting is on that landing page, or is that irrelevant now that you're paying for it?
No, not irrelevant because that's based on quality score. So remember, we get a better quality score, which can lower the cost per click.
Okay.
If we have our landing page match our ad, which matches the keyword, right? So if I have, say, an ad that talks just about classes, but my landing page is all about courses, will it make a difference? It might make a slight difference. What happens with Google Ads, like with SEO, is people go to my landing page and then they either convert or they don't. They either do the action we want or they don't. If somebody's clicking on my ad and they go to my website and they don't do the action, nobody does the action, and you've spent like $600, then there's something wrong with your landing page, right? And that's kind of how you figure it out. So conversion rate optimization is related to both Google Ads and SEO, right? Because the same thing happens with SEO. If you get a whole bunch of people going to your page from your organic listing and they don't take an action, then maybe you want to think about changing things on your landing page.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, if that helps.
I also wanted to add one clarification to what Pip had said. And
No, the conversion tracking guy doesn't want to add anything, really. I'm surprised.
No, it was that inside of Google Ads, the place you would do an A/B test, which is less relevant these days because with responsive search ads, you're already firing so many text ads at Google that you're going to get a lot of data back that way. But there's a thing called experiments. that's
Mm.
in the bottom settings on the homepage, and that's where you do run A/B tests strictly on the ad itself, and then Google Optimize will do A/B tests on the landing page.
If I can get you, I did an experiment for experiments are a place where
You're in the MCC account as well. That's
yeah,
why
I
you
know I'm
want
trying
this.
to get into.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
okay.
I think it was might not have been Whistle, but I'll just show you where the experiments are. So in the second column, vertical menu, you go down to experiments here. Right now, experiments are not so we're at beginner level. We're not going to spend time here.
Yeah. I was just
At
letting
this
you guys
point.
know. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is super advanced. Focus on everything else that Pip said, and I
Everything
was
that
just
I said. Yes, yes.
Got you. Thank you for showing us the button.
Yeah.
Love the buttons. You're all going to be singing that little click around, and get down every time you log into here. Keyword planner, right? That's where you spend time. Negative keyword list, eventually the shared keyword list. We are skipping bulk actions. You will learn about conversions in another class. So that's when we'll spend some time here. You can go right out to Google Analytics. Google just, they said, for purposes really unknown, but they're saying for privacy reasons, they're showing little keyword information in Google Analytics related to Google Ads. So we're not going to spend any time in the measurement today. There are a couple things I want to show you in linked accounts and account security, right? The billing is the billing. Just click around in here. You add billing. Sometimes you won't have access to the billing depending on if you're logging into your client's account. To be honest, some people and companies sell Google Ads where they take in the amount, you put your own credit card in here, and then you bill the client. We do not do that because we do not want to be left holding the bag. And that's just something really important to us. So everybody manages their business a little differently. Okay. Access and security. This is super neato mosquito in that things you don't notice or might not notice for years. And the reason you take a Google Ads class is because they'll get pointed out to you. I can just add people, which is cool, just add people and give them like standard access, send an invite, put their email address in. However, say I put an email address in and it won't let me save for the life of me. It's just like, I don't know why I can't give access. And it's because of this button here. So you got managers know this is if you have an MCC account, but the security is quite interesting because allowed domains. You can actually put in the domains that are allowed to enter this account, right? So we got Gmail. So if I tried to add Seymour Digital Media here, right? And I tried to give myself standard access and send invite, it won't let me. Not allowed. A lot of people don't see this security button and they don't see the manager's button, right? You definitely want to make sure when you're setting up an account that this is good for security. I'm not going to lie. We don't, as you'll notice, like, well, wait, Pip, what are you using your personal Gmail account to access this account? The answer is no. We use a manager's account. So what happens here is we get this code from the client and we put it, and then we request access. So the problem with this is, as you can see, I cannot remove my own access. So I definitely would prefer if I was added as a user here, right? And to add Seymour Digital Media, I probably need to ask an admin, which is Dylan, right? So different levels of access. That's the access. Read only is the access you will get when looking at people's accounts. We often sign an NDA before we go into somebody's account, just because we just like to be conscious that we're looking at people's private information. So the access and security is important to know about. Most people don't know, especially like owners. So we still have access to lots of accounts. We can't take ourselves off because the owner doesn't know about that setting. So, and then there's the linked accounts, so tools and settings and linked accounts. Now, this is where the magic starts to happen because you can add Google Analytics, you can add YouTube, you can add Search Console, you can sometimes have the option to add Marketplace, which is Google Shopping. So, and other third-party tools. So we always add Google Analytics. Google Analytics 4 should be added. Right. And when you click into this, like there's a whole, you just click on link, right? If you find the right account. But you want to link the accounts you want your Google Analytics for. You want your Universal right now. You want your Search Console if you have that option. And so it's not hard to link the accounts, but if you want somebody to work through it with you, let us know because we will help you. I'm not seeing Search Console here yet, but if we look at, let's
You can do a search in the top right hand. It says search 4,000 products.
look at that. So I just went into natural account. So, there it is, Search Console, right? And so if I was going to add this, you click on the details and you're like, oh, you got to go find it. You can, I think, filter it out. So if you got a lot of accounts, you have to look closely. You don't want to link the wrong account. Then link sites. Bang. And we have a whole process for linking accounts. Google, however, adds options like Search Console wasn't an option 6 months ago. And so once in a while, you're going to have to go check in there, right? So those are your most important settings. There is some auto stuff that Google's trying to force you to do, like to click on automation that I was going to show you at the very last. Now I showed you these two, but it's this auto apply thing. You want to make sure to click on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
This is new. So when you click on the auto supply, you get taken to, it's still in recommendations, and just don't mess with this yet. Don't. So I'm letting them remove non-serving keywords. Like if I don't want to manage this, I worked with a Google Ads guy and he got me to click on some of these. So, but stay away from this for right now. So you can, optimize for best rotating ads. If you're not logging in, you're going to want to have Google out of the box, do some optimizations. But if you are logging in all the time, but see this one, add responsive search ads. No, don't add ads for me. And I think out of the box, these might all be clicked on. So that's something to pay attention to. So when we go through your accounts, when you've set stuff up, we will help you make sure you're clicking on the right things and boxes. So I am hoping you're all going to create a little Google Ads campaign. Are we all on board for that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So does anybody need help with picking what their campaign should be about? Like their topic or theme?
Is part of the activity that you want us to write our own copy, or is it just that you want us to?
Oh, you're going to write your own copy, young
We
lady.
are okay. So I should not use an existing landing page.
Oh, no.
No.
Use an existing landing page.
Okay.
Because you need, so when you do an ads campaign, right, you need a landing page, unless you want to make a whole new web page, which don't do that. And if you do that for your client, charge money. It's a lot of work. No, your job is to get keywords and like kind of pick a topic theme for your ads. Then we write ad copy, and then we're gonna launch our campaign, right?
Yes.
Good.
The other thing to do to help with it is what is the product or service that you guys already have that you want to like supercharge. So you already know that the funnel's working, like whatever that setup is, that page is already converting. Then you're just putting ads to that to help supercharge it. Is kind of the idea.
Yeah. So we're not doing informational, right? So we're not going to be sending people to our blog post, right? But so for service-based businesses, what do you want to promote? Like, for instance, if I take the example of Helena, I think is helping, develop a social media marketing course. So she's got a landing page and she's got to figure out, well, what do I want my campaign to be about? Well, the whole campaign's about marketing courses. So is it, social media marketing, or is it Instagram marketing, or whatever her ad groups are going to be? We're not concerned. We're just concerned with getting a bunch of keywords for digital marketing course. Joanne, I think you have an e-commerce site So that would be, you would figure out, what do you want to sell? Right? Are you looking at the whole website and then your ad groups are going to be specific products? Or are you just wanting to promote one product? So that's how we have to look at that. Michelle,
Or
Oh.
conversely, there's one other flip side to it. So for maybe Kelly and Joanne, you may not be selling individual items, but you may be doing lead generation. So you want to get a wholesale customer that's going to buy a lot of products. And what you do is you want them to fill out a form. And that's not, and you're still going to be selling a physical good, but it's more that you're generating wholesale leads. And so that's going to be a different campaign than selling an individual product as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, and there are various ways we can go through each person if you want in our Q&A and talk about what you're going to do for your campaigns. Michelle, I know that I believe you're going to create a campaign for one location for booking massages, right? For the school. And Kelly, what are you selling if you're doing a Google Ads campaign? Tell me. Kelly's
There,
like,
that's easier. I would probably sell like the embroidery service,
Okay.
Team Sports would be another one that I would sell. And then for the other webpage, it's all about books and collectibles and gifts.
Okay. That's interesting. So, yeah, so basically you just want to come up with what your major theme is, and then you want to find keywords that you think people would type into Google looking at the keyword planner or Google Search Console. Candace, you're a harder nut to crack because of your industry. So if I was a real estate agent, now I used to say that real estate agent ads don't work well. They can work really well. And the separation is kind of the buyer and seller, because I think both buyers and sellers are looking at different things.
Mhm.
But that can also get confusing with language, right? So, but that's how I would separate the campaigns, or area specific. So we
Okay.
want to do our targeting for area at the campaign level, right? So if like there's, say, 2 locations, yeah, so like say I have Victoria and Vancouver, you have to separate out the campaigns related to city, because you don't want the crossover. For instance, we have a client, the Whistler client, they do like a ride sharing service in Whistler and Tofino. But I don't want my Whistler ads that say, hey, rideshare Whistler, show up in Tofino. So things like that. So just things to think about, but you need a list of keywords, at least 20 keywords, minimum, maximum 100 or more. Remember, 20 keywords per ad group. Now, did y'all have questions about the settings? Are you going to go into the settings on your own and click around? Oh, yeah. Good.
Of course.
I don't believe
So
so.
we'll have lots of questions then.
Yeah, question away.
I know I'll have questions then, once up
Fair.
later on.
Yeah, we'll try to get this one up super quick so you can follow along. But and if you already have accounts, or there's an account you can log into, go in, log in. Don't change anything, because your ads person might get really upset. And we can see what you do, because there's that history, right? But go in and click around, and don't be afraid if you do break something. I can fix it. Kelly, do you have a question? I see you. No? Oh, you're muted. Still muted, buddy. Why?
You're muted, Kelly.
Yeah, you can't unmute. Oh, there you go.
How many times is that? I think I'm gonna go back through and check one of the other videos and make sure that, because I know since we did this last, a lot changed in the Googleverse, and I had everything set up to exclude the IPs and do all of that. So I need to go back through some of those previous classes and make sure everything is still set up and not broken.
Yeah, the IP address, I think that's in Google Analytics, right, Phelan?
Yes, and how that works. The new IP address thing is different with Google Analytics 4. And
Yeah,
it's
don't stress. That's what I
It's
say.
annoying.
Don't stress yet.
Yeah,
Especially because the Google Analytics 4 is so new, and eventually we're going to have the old Google Analytics ripped out from under our feet, and we're all going to have to just manage.
I know
Uh,
I'm still excluded on DesignX, but I think I see myself on the other webpage there on the Laugh Brands ones. So
yeah. Oh, the other thing, don't click on your own ads, huh? Tell your clients they're not allowed to search for themselves, and they're not allowed to click on their own ads. Cost them. And I know everybody searches for themselves. I know. But when you search for your own business, if you're doing Google Ads, what are you doing?
eating up your own budget.
No, because say they're not clicking on your ad.
No, but
You're telling Google that you're not interested in the ad.
That's right. And so that's an
Yeah.
impression, right? So you're getting an impression and not a click. And what does that do? That lowers the click-through rate, because the click-through rate is the impressions divided by clicks. Yes.
what I meant by using up your budget is that you can only be in X number of auctions with the budget that your daily budget that you have. So if you take away one of those auctions by you
Yeah.
setting it off, then that could have been used in a better situation.
And there was a tab in there that inside Google Ads in the planning that says ad diagnosis. We didn't go into it because we will go into it when we have active ads, when we each have active ads. So I do, and I am going to go in the Facebook group, and I'm probably going to go live like 3 times just to remind y'all, be like, okay, I need a keyword list, right? And some lines of text. Like, I would really like y'all to go in and make some ads. Like, Google gives you the ability to gamify it, right?
How many words are we looking for our lines of text?
You're looking, let me just take you. You are looking for 15 headlines with 30 characters. If you all want a spreadsheet to play in, you can. What do you see? Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. You want 15 lines of text, 30 characters, and then you want 4 headlines with 90 characters. So when you go in to create an account, if you're not doing it inside Google Ads, ask me, I'll give you the Google Sheet. If you are creating them inside Google Ads, you go, right? So say, created a campaign. You whizzed through everything like we did, and you didn't do really any of the settings. And now you have like a campaign. Then you're going to log in. You can click on the campaign. Going to make sure it's not green and enabled. It doesn't matter. You don't have any keywords in there. And then you're going to go to ads. And then if you want to create an ad, you're going to create a responsive search ad in your ad group. So it's saying, hey, pick an ad group. You're like, oh, okay. But it'll take you here if you don't use a Google Sheet. And so you want to do your 2 paths, your 15 headlines. I know, super fun. And the reason you log into Google Ads is because it's easier, because you can just click on the gamification, right? Cabin with Slantino, and you can just click on that and then it'll add it. So 4 headlines, 90 characters, 15 headlines, 30 characters. If you do it inside the Google Ads account, all you are looking for is inside your campaign, Google Ads plus button.